Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 coming at you with another Transformers video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Studio Series astrotrain. Yeah, there's been quite a bit of controversy around this guy for the last few months since he dropped. And personally, I'm fine with him. I think he definitely could have been better. Um, My biggest issue with this guy is the same issue I kind of had with the Bayverse Voyager Prime and kind of the what is it, the Prime Universe bulkhead that they did. My issue is that the biggest problem is where they decided to put him in the line. Because if this had been released as like a G1 toy version, like that little deluxe Optimus, I think people would have been a lot more receptive to it, because he very much feels like a toy version of Astro Train more than a Studio Series version. Because as far as Studio Series goes, with it's supposed to be very accurate and whatnot, he misses by like 20 miles. He is nowhere close to being screen accurate. Um, but with that said, we'll go ahead and get started here with the box. And we do have Astro Train there on the front in his train, shuttle, and robot mode. And we do get some wraparound art there. He is obviously an Autobot. And if we come over to this side, we get Astro Train and his mug shot there. On the top, we just have our name and logos. On the bottom, we have our legal jargon, and on the back, we have our product shots, screen cap, and one-line bio. So yeah, there is all of that. And then we also get our lovely instruction booklet. So there is all of that. And moving on to the figure himself, again, he is very kibbly and very, what's the word? Definitely disproportionate. He's definitely kind of rough around the edges. A lot of people, it seems, when they first dropped, were reporting that they were having issues with the pin in his waist. I'll go ahead and pull this up so I can show you. There's a little pin like right here, you can see right here, but some people were getting them and they weren't long enough, so it was actually sunk in, and because of that, people were having him pop off at the waist. Mine appears to be fine. But yeah, he does, again, he does feel very toy-esque, both in his proportions, his accessories, and in some of his features. Like, for example, you can pull this out and open it up. Come on. And have him with his, that's another issue we'll get to. They can have him have the toy chest crest. I've seen a lot of people go over this with like a red paint marker just to liven it up, and his abs too, because they definitely skimmed on the paint, but what else is new? But yeah, I've seen some people just add some touches of red, and it really does make a difference. But yeah, you do get that feature. Come on. So, but yeah, we could just tuck this back in so he doesn't have a big hole in his belly. It does have a nice head sculpt. Does have that nice yellow crest. Unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way up. I don't know why they wouldn't do the top too, but okay. Again, they really like to skimp on their paint and then, use an entire coat or 3 coats of paint on a weapon that they could have cast in a color they already were using. So yeah, I'm always going to point that out. Anyway, speaking of his accessories, we do get his toy version gun and his cartoon gun. We also get a smoke effect for the train mode, which is actually very nice. And then we do get 3 different, or 3 copies of the same little thruster effect that you can use on his back. but that's more for his other modes. You can plug these into the weapons to get some effects there. You can also use the smoke effect if you want to have the literal smoking gun. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but you can do that, which I actually like to use this for Megatron's fusion cannon, because it fits quite nicely with that. Pull that up a little bit, yeah. That's what I like to do with it. Anywho, so, and again, of course, you can put his weapons in his hands. Personally, I prefer the toy gun. I think it's more fitting for him, especially given his supposed large size. But yeah, there's that. And if you want to store the weapons, there are ports on the back here, like so. And they will just plug right in. So there's your weapon storage. Now let's briefly go over the articulation. His head is on a very nice ball joint and very good up and down here. We do get the shoulders could do 360, but obviously wings are there. We do get a very snug bicep swivel. We do actually get double jointed elbows, so we get a full elbow bend, which is nice. We do get a wrist swivel for the transformation, and we do have opening hands, which we will talk about in a little bit. We do get a waist. We can't do 360 again because of the backpack stuff, but you know, it's there. They do have separated hip skirt pieces, so, but we can kick that far forward. Not really much back. Again, backpack. Thigh swivel. We do get that far out to the side. We do get a ratcheted knee that goes a little over 90 degrees. We do get some movement in the foot, partially for the transformation joints, but it does let you do a little bit of back and forth. And of course, we do get some ankle movement. So there is his articulation. Now we're going to bring in someone as a partial comparison, partial feature, with the Coronation Starscream. This is my dramatic capture version. But the reason they gave him the opening hands is so that you can open them up. This one's really snug, geez. And recreate the scene where he's I kind of gotta bend these more in. Recreate the scene where he's giving Starscream his new crown, although it's not exactly the most secure thing. There we go. Just kind of gotta set it on top, but bring that down. But yeah, you can recreate that coronation scene if you want. So there's that, and now that's. Hey, made such a big deal about this thing, and now you don't want it, huh? There we go. So there is how he stands up next to Starscream, the Earthrise Starscream. I'm sure that the new Starscream that they're just now starting to release will get a coronation set at some point in the future. So, but yeah, that. Here he is next to Dramatic Capture Triple Takeover Blitzwing. So there's that. Let's get it back a little bit. Here he is next to Studio Series Megatron. And a very important comparison, here he is next to the Triple Takeover Siege mold of astrotrain, which is a smidge shorter, but honestly, he does look better. And yeah, this has been a huge point of controversy over just the general release of this new astrotrain is it really feels like the old one was better. And I have to agree. I don't dislike this new one, but overall the old one does feel better. His proportions are better. He's got a lot of the tech greeble, but just overall, the only thing that's I could say 100% better on the new one is the train mode, and that's because the train mode is basically like the only thing about this guy that is flawless or close to it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. But even so, I still like overall in all three modes prefer this one, which is why I want to bring up a point about this, the retooled Siege Shockwave that was basically just smoothed out and slightly retooled to make him more animation accurate. And I feel like maybe they should have done that for astrotrain 2. Again, I don't want to complain about getting a new mold, and again, I don't hate this mold, but I feel like they might have done better if they had done the Studio Series or smoothing effect that they gave this Shockwave. I feel that might have gone over better. But it is what it is. Overall, again, I do still enjoy this mold. I'm not going to pretend like I hate it. And one last comparison for robot mode, because we definitely got to get the OG G1 astrotrain in there. And again, like, you can see what I mean about like the chest, and then the big gun, and even the scrawny arms feel more toy-esque. Because again, I want to actually get this out. It's very snug on mine, but yeah, like it really feels like they should have done this more as a toy version of astrotrain. I think it would have gone over a bit smoother if they had done toy astrotrain rather than Studio Series. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on here and get into our first part of the transformation into his train mode. So first things first, we want to make sure that this is closed up. And if you do have it stored in the middle section, you do want to pull it up. You want to pull his head off. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, I do wish that this tabbed in a little more securely. It's not the like super loose kind of thing, but if you push on his head, it can just pop off. So I do wish there was like maybe a tab at the front too, including these little rail tabs. But yeah, oh yeah, I should probably take his guns off too. Getting all out of order here. And you're going to take this whole panel for his head and flip that inside like so. So it's all the way at the back. And then we are going to come down here to his chest piece here, and you're going to flip these up and fold them over so that the little purple bits are showing. And then you're going to lift these up and untab them like so. Just bring this out of the way. Then we are going to want to make sure his arms are straight, make sure his hands are closed, and then we want to twist his hands so that they are facing, I believe it's thumbs towards the elbow, if I'm not mistaken. And then we want to, we want to fold this over like so. Okay, no, it's the other way. We want to make sure that the back of his hand is towards the elbow, because when we fold these in, you'll see, and there is a groove under here that's going to go into this tab right here. But when we get these, come on, go on there. Yeah, shake it on there. There we go. As we bring these over, get that down out of the way. Twist this around so it's facing the right way. So we bring these in together, and I did not turn it all the way. Oh, yes, I did. I just had the arm in the wrong position. You'll see that the back of the hands basically come together here. So just make sure that that is properly connected. And then we are going to bring this down, and these little tabs here on the side are going to go into these grooves on his arms. So, and this is on a little armature, so you have to push it up a little bit, but it'll slide in just like that. And then we bring these down, and they will tab over his shoulders. Now we can just get all this out of the way, and we're going to start on his legs. First things first, we want to take his feet and fold them up and in, like so. Just up and in. And we are going to tab the legs together. And I'll admit the instructions were not the best, especially with this part, because it really did not make any sense what they were trying to convey in the instructions. But when you get to this part, you want to make sure that his legs are sitting at an angle so that they're slightly down. It'll make a little more sense when I actually move this part over. But yeah, you want to pull this part. You want to make sure these are untabbed. Oh, actually, I don't think they actually hook on there, but you want to pull this up and over, and it's going to cover over this like whole section. And we want to make sure it's all the way down. But yeah, now when we're here, you want to make sure that the legs sit at a slight angle like that. So you can see there's like a little bit of space. The hips are slightly angled. So now we can move on to the next part, which is these little bits. And I always get these topsy-turvy mixed around, but we'll get there. So we do. Okay, I just pushed it a little. Anyway, what we want is obviously for the train wheels to be on the outside for this part, and we gotta sort of maneuver this around. And there is a part of this here. So there's this armature, and then there's this swivelly bit, and you're gonna you want to fold these wheels over, and then orient the arm up so that the wheels are gonna sit in this spot, and they do tab in a couple spots. There is a little tab right here. There's also this little gray bit where the pin is. Not sure. You can see that little teeny tiny tab is actually going to slot into this tiny little hole in the arm, and then there's a tab here that's going to go into this little bit right here. So just want to make sure that all of that is lined up and in the right position, and I'm not sure if I have it all in the right position. That tabbed in, get that tabbed in, and yep, all like that. And then we want to do the same with the other side, and now we can use this as a reference. So we do want to spin this around and fold this over, but we do want the little armature to be straight, yep, like that. And then we're gonna make sure this tab goes in, and then that this tab goes in. Make sure the little one on the arm has gone in, yes it has. And now we can bring this whole assembly around, and we do want to fold these wings down like so. Then we're going to take these bits and rotate them forward like so, and rotate it forward like so. And we can bring this whole section back, and it's going to come over here, and there are little tabs here on the sides of what his feet are now that are going to plug into the gray pieces of the wings. You can see there's a little slot there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that back and just tab those in like so. And now we can bring the rest of the way down, and we want to lift it over, and you can see there is a little tab slot connection right here. I'll lift this up, just tab that together, and then we want to make sure that the little arm on the wheels, I don't remember the exact term for that, is connected there. And then we want to do the same on the other side. Just make sure this is out of the way so we can get this over. And tab it in. And make sure that this is connected, the little gray piece. And then we're going to fold these panels up, and there's a slot, and then this little gray tab, like so. You can see it's filling up that little gap now. And on the other side, do the same. Then we can bring this whole assembly down, and there's a tab slot here and the hinge to hold it in place. And then there are these two tabs here and here that are going to go into there and there, like so, and like so. And there we have astrotrain in his train mode. And yeah, like I said, this is definitely the best mode. It is a very, very good looking train. Very spot on. Definitely think it's where this figure shines the most. And they even went so far as, you know, put this little bar on the wheels, and they actually, it's a little stiff, but yeah, you can actually get it to, here, let's try this side. Yeah, see, this side rolls. So, it would be nice if it was a little smoother, but it, you know, it actually like moves. Oh, maybe if I make sure these are pressed in all the way. There we go. So I think that's really cool. I really do like that. And again, you can store the guns here on the side if you want your locomotive to be ready to handle any bandits. And the blast effects here can go in the thrusters. And I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but I usually don't use these particular ones in the robot mode because they make them just a little too back heavy. But yeah, now you got that going on. And we can't forget about the big smoke effect here. And it has two ports, one here and one here. And this one goes up here in the top, like so. And this one goes back here all the way at the end to make sure it doesn't just wobble around. But now you got a very nice smoky effect going on, and I think that's cool. Again, I usually stick this in Megatron's fusion cannon, but I absolutely love what they did here with this. I gotta say, the train mode, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10. Yeah, then, you know, you do got a little gappage here, and, you know, you got some wheels sitting on the side. But, you know, overall, I think they knocked this part just out of the park. I really think they did a good job here. So, yeah, we should probably do some comparisons here. Here he is next to Combaticon Brawl. So you can see how he stacks up against a Voyager. Dang, most of the ones I have are for each shuttle. Hold on. Kind of an off-center one, but here he is next to, just so you can see how he stacks up with a random collab. But yeah, again, I really do like this mode. I do think it's the best part of this particular figure. But we do still have one more mode to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and just, we can leave these ones on because they're pretty much going to be the same place for the next mode anyway. The guns are just kind of in the way. So I'll go ahead and untab this section. Okay, fine. Well, oh, I totally forgot to mention that this back section opens up like it did in the movie. Toy Hacks has made a little sticker with all the little Decepticons inside for that, but yeah. It's a neat little feature. Come on. There we go. Jeez. Anyway, we're going to bring this up. We do need to pull these back down to the sides. And then we are going to go ahead and disconnect these wheel pieces here. Just get them untabbed from each other. There we go. And same on the other side. And now, oh, yeah, this part is just on a friction joint. So sometimes that happens. Anyway, we want to straighten out these wings again. And you want to fold these back down all the way, and then you fold these up around like so. You You want to make sure to rotate them this way because they click into this spot right here. There's sort of like a little groove there for, I'm not exactly sure which part of it is actually like tapping in there, but, oh, it's this weird square bit right here. This bit right here folds around and actually swings into that, so you want to make sure that you swing them around inside. Anyway, we're just going to leave that there for now. Then we do need to untab these bits again. And we do want to push this down so that his hips are no longer angled, so they're sitting straight down. We want to go ahead now, don't want the whole thing, I just want the wheel. Bring the wheel down. Make sure that that's nice and secure. And then this, we are going to fold this down on that rotation bit there. Fold it down. And we want to tab, yeah, I believe it's these two. We're just going to go over these two tabs right here. So, yeah, just like that. And you'll have this sitting at a little bit of an angle here. So, and yeah, again, it's these two tabs right here into these two slots right here. Just like that. And you got to pull this part up, which gives me a bit of trouble just because of this smooth corner. There we go. It sits in there pretty snug. Yeah, we're going to bring this up like so. And we're going to bring this around, and then we're going to fold this first up into the groove, and then we're going to bring this whole assembly back up. And this circular bit is going to go into this port here. So that is going to go in here. And then, once again, this is going to come up and tab over those same clips. And then we just want to make sure to scoot this a little bit back all the way, and it should sit nice and secure. Then we're going to fold these little bits from the wings out to complete the way they look. And I don't know why, but they like to sit at a slight upward slant, probably just because of the way these little clicky, like soft ratchet joints are molded. It's a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's the shuttle mode. Pretty straightforward getting there. And again, it's a decent looking mold. I do like the front part of the shuttle for the most part. That part is fairly accurate to the animation model. I do like the big Decepticon there on the tip of the shuttle. Nice blue for the windows. Don't love this weird like lip from his toes here, but you know, that is what it is, I think, just because of the way the feet are molded. So yeah, don't love it, but it is what it is. This is yeah. I've heard some people say the shuttle mode is really good, and like if you look at it like this, yeah, it's great, but it's, yeah. Honestly, I think the old one was better. In fact, we're gonna go ahead and bring in our Galaxy shuttle, and yeah, like by no means is this one perfect, but I honestly think that this one was a bit better. I will say the proportions are better on this one as far as like overall shape and whatnot, but this one at least feels a little more solid to me. I don't know. They're both very compromised, honestly, but yeah, just I like this one better. But and for one other shuttle comparison, here he is next to Blast Off. Just so you get another shuttle comparison. So, and just for one more, here is Generic Seeker. So, but yeah, again, I don't hate this mold. I do think it's compromised. I think it should have been listed as a toy version. I do think that like just a little bit more paint would have gone a long way. I understand why a lot of people do not like this. And again, it's like those, like the Prime and the Bulkhead I mentioned. If it had been listed differently or put in the like generations line instead, I think it would have gone over a lot smoother. I think like half the problem is it's labeled as Studio Series when it clearly does not fit in Studio Series. And again, for me, like I don't care which toy line it is. I want good toys. That is like the big thing for me. Like put it in whatever box you want. If it's a good toy, I'll want it. Um, and this one's all right. I'm not gonna say it's perfect. Honestly, I can understand why a lot of people don't like it. If you can find it like on sale, or it'll probably start showing up at Ross at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's at least worth picking up, but by no means do I think it's like good enough to replace the previous Siege version. And again, I think this might have been a better candidate for the Siege retool treatment that Shockwave got. Well, maybe not a better one, but like it would have been more fitting. So I don't know. This one's definitely a mixed bag. I have to kind of give it a like recommendation if you can get it on sale. I don't know that I would be willing to buy this again at full price. Uh, Probably the only reason I would buy it again at all is if they do it in the black and white Japanese colors, because those are my favorite colors for astrotrain. Those are the ones I got the G1 toy, the Fans Toys version. That's the reason I bought the Galaxy Shuttle repaint. So, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I think it's all right. I'm not gonna say it's amazing. Train mode is very good. Shuttle is eh. Robot mode is it should have been a toy version. But I think that's really all I have to say about this particular review. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. And this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.